Chaucer! Time for Chaucer!
I do like enthusiasm. Now, where had we got to?
Another technique I mentioned is to use accents. Here's an experiment. Write down what I say as if you were trying to write a guide for how to pronounce the words, so that someone, unfamiliar with an accent, might say the words as they would be sounded by someone native to that accent. Geordie. "Ya where, man? Are you going to whack to walk?" "Ya where, man? Are you going to walk to walk?" Let's go to Liverpool.
"Hey pal, are you going to work? Hey pal, are you going to work?"
Or a general Scottish. "When will you be wanting your tea? When will you be wanting your tea?" Or perhaps more specifically, Glaswegian. "There were twa monks and a nun sitting in a bar. There were twa monks and a nun sitting in a bar." Vowel sounds change in dialects. Work, walk, work is a good example. And think for a moment of the difficulties faced by scribes trying to write down sounds in the language and dialects of another country. First, the Christian missionaries with the Latin alphabet trying to write down Anglo-Saxon. What, for instance, do they do with the th sound, for which Latin has no letter? Do they use a symbol like eth or thorn from Anglo-Saxon, or combine Latin letters like dh or th? All can be found in early manuscripts. Then what about the Normans trying to write down the English of the nation they have conquered? They generally settled for th. Although as thorn falls out of use, people who encounter it begin to see it as a y. So they read and write ye for the. And even as they write, the language is still evolving, taking in, as it does today, new words from other languages that do the job better, or inventing words for new things. If you want to know about this, there's a brilliant book by David Crystal. Anyway, try speaking Chaucer with different accents. It's great fun. And finally, yes, you will have to look up some words and learn them. And be aware that they might change spelling according to how they might be pronounced, such as Clepet. He was Clepet Hubert, means he was called Hubert. He was clept Hubert, he was called Hubert. This is rather like learned and learnt. Another word to learn. And he hight Hubert also means he was called Hubert. Sometimes we just have to get to grips with specific words that have disappeared through history. Take comfort that we are causing the same issue for future generations. It is not just one-way traffic. Yet it's a contemporary issue too. When I first came to Leicester and asked directions to a place, I was told to go down the Jitty. Jitty? The closest word I had was netty, which is Geordie for the old toilet at the bottom of the yard. I had to ask what a jitty was. The person who was directing me seemed to find it hard to understand that I didn't know her local words. It turned out that a jitty is a narrow alley or passageway. Reading Chaucer has in many ways no greater real hardships than moving to a different area of the country where they speak a language that is yours and also not yours. Here are a few standard items in the spelling. Just an H for the modern TH. Hem for them. Here for her, and also here and here with an E for there. Y instead of a G. Yave for gave, yaf for gave. Forget, to forget. Forjaven for forgiven. WE for the modern ending of OW. Auwe for arrow. Morwe for morrow. Pilwe for pillow. Sometimes NE for our EN at the end of a word. Fastener for fasten. Chickners for chickens. Often an O for our A. Lond for land. Stond for stand. Stronders for strands, shores. Occasionally a double vowel where we now have just one. Cas for case. Estat for estate. Mad for maid. Reed for read. Leet for let. All of which are pronunciations which you will find in modern dialects. Plus also there is sometimes an extra that in phrases. When that equals when. Sin that equals since. This continues through to later ages, such as Feste's song at the end of Shakespeare's Twelfth Night. When that I was and a little tiny boy. And sometimes words retain their French meaning, which has since changed. Aventure, adventure, means chance. We still say peradventure, meaning by chance. Vrai equals true. Plain equals full, from the French plein. And most importantly, free and freedom mean generous and generosity, like liberal and liberality. Well, that's it for the time being. I hope to produce some more videos, one on the General Prologue, and one what is sometimes seen as a difficult topic, what is known as courtly love. Courtly love is rather like a high-class soap opera. It's not very long before I started making in this video that the last series of Downton Abbey, following the fortunes of those living in a large upper-class English country house, were broadcast on television, and it's a series that's been a great hit in the UK and also in America and elsewhere, but it is still a soap opera. We recognise the conventions of how the characters behave, which is very different from our normal lives, but do we think it is real life? Did anyone, even then, live with such intensity as the dramatic plots in television and film demand, whether depicting the top end, middle, or the bottom of the social scale? What is the relationship of a soap opera to your life? What was the relationship of courtly love ideals to the lives of those in medieval times, who liked to hear the stories that revolved round those ideals? Remember that just because something is popular doesn't mean that people take it for real. It is an imagined, alternative reality.